Hey guys, Thomas is still a Jr. here, aka Mustached. I'm here to review the movie Bullet Train. If you end up enjoying this full review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also make sure to check out those links in the description. One will head you over to my Discord server, the second to my Patreon page, third to my PayPal, fourth to my Discord server. Any donations are greatly appreciated and help support me and the channel. And shilling will be reminded at the end of the review. And with that all set out of the way, let us get into Bullet Train. So I saw the trailer for this once, and admittedly, I thought this movie was going to be a little bit more nuts. No, don't get me wrong, it gets a little bit nuts, but it did seem like they were pulling the spectacle elements, like things that happen later on in the movie, to make it seem like this movie was going to be like off the cuff of like craziness. So we begin somewhere in Japan as we see Lipier talking to his son over in Tokyo, and things aren't looking good for him. It talks about how he's like maintained from like not wanting to do suicide after some event. We cut to Ladybug, our main character, played by Brad Pitt here, as he leaves this gun behind, as he takes other things with him, as he's not a gun person apparently. And he's assigned to simply get this this briefcase full of money. Simple enough, as the caller keeps referring to it as. But as he's maintaining his way into the bullet train, we cut to these two killer guys, these two brothers, and we hear them discuss for quite a bit here about the work they've been doing in their kill count, and we see a flashback for every time a character mentions something of that nature. So I think that this movie is a very good indication of how to do a flashback of like, okay, this is how you establish a character. They are introduced, we see them, and when they bring up an event from the past, that is like a good, keen way to actually bring up the actual event. But Ladybug quickly finds the briefcase, pretty obvious, but as he keeps moving, it takes a while for the two of them to notice that their briefcase has been taken. But meanwhile, we get more others, as we have Princess and the Pierre from the beginning of the movie, who she has his son hostage. And they begin going over the story of White Death, who wears this red mask. And again, this is where we see the flashback of as they are talking about it, and how White Death is there, and we return to see the two other killer guys. I'll call them the bros. So the bros return to see that the kid that they are hired to protect, or this young adult they are hired to protect, is now dead. So they left looking for the briefcase, and when they came back, he was dead. Meanwhile, we cut to the wolf, and we show his past, and how his entire family, or crew that he was with, dying from this poison, and how he was left alone in this little thing. So he sees Ladybug and goes after him, just as Ladybug is about to leave the bullet train. And that happens pretty consistently throughout the movie, and almost as a joking manner of like every time Ladybug is just about to end the movie, just about to, get off that bullet train, he gets sucked right back in by something. So this wolf guy starts attacking him. They go in a pretty intense fight. Ladybug gets as he puts it, in bad luck, but this bad luck happens to get him in a good luck scenario where he ends up winning by mistake, almost, in the way I would put it. He sees one of the bros, and he is like trying to avoid him as he's trying to make his way back to where he was. So, as he calls, this is where we learn, obviously, the money is in the briefcase, like what's actually in the briefcase, because he was just told it was a briefcase at the beginning. Excuse me. So, he decides to join one of the two bros, as he's alone currently. And meanwhile, the case has been taken by the princess, and she hides it elsewhere, or takes it elsewhere. And Ladybug is trying to make a deal with this guy, with the bro, but they end up fighting in the quiet train section. And as he's progressing, he lets out this snake from a zoo that we see escape from a zoo. That's its backstory, because apparently even that has to have a backstory, and they even make a joke later on about this water bottle having a backstory, but we'll get to that later. So anyways, we see, I don't know what character he's supposed to play here, but Danny Chanham is like prompted to trade clothes with Ladybug as he runs off with the case, or a different case anyways. So Pierre is called on his phone, or a phone, about his son being in a dire situation. So he's stuck in his situation. The other bro, the white bro, I called him the white bro and the black bro, meets up with the Yakuza. So the Yakuza are trying to make this deal go down. And he does so relatively poorly, but does so, as we see Princess mocking the dead body of the guy we saw dead. And we see Pierre eventually unlock the case when he's left alone with the devices to have some time to deal with that. Meanwhile, Ladybug is like suddenly, or ends up like in the toilet room. He's just like messing around with it. We then learn that this woman named Hornet is the true killer of like one of the young guy. And unfortunately, the white bro tracked Ladybug to his phone, and they fight again. Ladybug comes in as they are put to a stop. As this lady that's like doing service, like they stop fighting and then they can continue fighting as she leaves, and presses a button that nearly like it does knock him out. So the Yakuza want to make a new deal where they want to check to make sure that the case is the whole situation with that's being dealt with. So they're trying to find the case, and they saw it long enough just to dive back into the bullet train. So that's where White Bro and Ladybug team together, temporarily speaking, I believe. But Pierre talks with Princess about wanting to leave. You know, he's trying to get out of the situation. He's done what he's supposed to do. But the black bro catches up with Princess and hears a bit of misspeak from her and pins her with I forget the character, some Thomas the Tank Engine, because that's a big part of his character, I guess, is like, he like sticks people with like what character he assigns like them via sticker. Anyways, Pierre gets shot down at. Meanwhile, Black Bro gets shot at, or falls unconscious from drinking the water we see Ladybug set up earlier in the movie. Meanwhile, White Bro smashes back into the train. So we gotta deal with that now. And we see the masked character is a Viper or whatever, or Hornet, I believe that her name was. And she takes off the mascot clothing, and she proceeds to fight Ladybug. They're both trying to use her poison, and she hits herself with it and him. So, like, she tries to pull up the only cure that she has, and he takes it first. So the Hornet dies out slowly. Meanwhile, the White Bro finds his partner, assuming that he's dead. And he's like getting mad by this consistent calling and the raising of the threat. And now he bumps into the princess. Ladybug gets in. But now he's the one who gets suckered in back into that train by Princess after dealing with them getting out of that situation. They are joined by Pierre. Wait, I think it's his father that comes in at this point. And just as he comes in, and everyone's trying to figure out what's going on, Ladybug gets snagged by the snake we saw earlier. So he's trying to deal with that, and deals with it pretty quickly. So, Ladybug talks with Pierre's father about the red mask and how he was there during that night. And it shows the flashback from his perspective. We see that the Black Bro had survived due to wearing a bulletproof vest, but he misses his brother as he was taken out earlier in the movie. At this point, the White Bro finally got it. And he said, "You're more of a Thomas the Tank Engine," and he cries out. Meanwhile, the princess sees White Mask getting into the train as Ladybug proceeds to get attacked. And meanwhile, the White Mask doesn't fall for her trick of like using this specialized gun that would blow him up instead of shoot her, like how we see her set it up earlier at some point in the movie. So the mask talks about as Ladybug stalls by bringing out the briefcase, and he's trying to figure out why this guy has brought them all here. Apparently the White Mask has brought them all here, and he said that he wanted to bring all of these killers here to all kill each other, including his own son, as they are all responsible one way or another for his wife's death. So again, he set this all up with all of these different killers. So it's up to essentially Ladybug, Black Bro, Pierre, and Pierre's father to essentially take out the Yakuza and the White Mask. And the two samurai of the bunch fight as their train hits another train as they're moving super fast. And while Ladybug and Black Bro are like further like in the front, like the Black Bro like dives in and tackles this other guy off the train. So White Mask decides to play a little Russian roulette with the other samurai guy, with Pierre's father. And this is after the Russian roulette scene. We see the poisoned bottle's entire journey as it shows back up at this point, as it's been rolling around and being handed off, and who drunk it and who ended up to who and all that good stuff. So it shows this, probably one of the craziest crash scenes ever depicted, or one of the crazier crash scenes depicted, as the train just absolutely gets fucked. And we see Ladybug get plummeted in the air, and he's just like, man, you ask, how does he survive this one? Oh, so conveniently, one of the plush mascot there in the poster is what he lands against as the train is like zooming past, and just other parts of it are like tearing into different parts of the building. As it shows Ladybug Luck finally coming in. White Mask takes out Princess's gun after his gun is emptied out after doing the Russian roulette thing. He takes out the Princess gun, completely neglecting to what he did earlier, like not pulling the trigger on that one. Pulls the trigger on it because he's, getting a little bit aggravated, and his head blows off at this point. So she got her wish. She did technically kill him with the weapon that she, wanted to, technically speaking. But as the princess is doing her thing, she gets hit by a car. We finally meet Ladybug's handler as they go off into the sunset and enjoy what, being off the bullet train and, surviving. And that was Bullet Train. So, definitely a pretty crazy movie. And again, I feel like the trailer was overdoing it a little bit, as I feel like that a lot of that stuff is, again, saved for like the ending bits of the movie, but still an enjoyable movie. Proper use of flashbacking and tying all of these little pieces together. So pretty unique action movie, I guess. Having all of these different types of killers, using these different methods and whatnot. Pretty cool stuff. I'd probably give Bullet Train a solid 7 out of 10. Pretty good stuff. So yeah. If you ended up enjoying this review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure to check out those links in the description. One will head you over to my Discord. The first will head you over to my petition. Second to my Patreon. Third to my PayPal. Fourth to my Discord server. Any donations are greatly appreciated. And until next time, everyone. Bye bye.